is a ReTV documentary. Anna Nicole Smith.
Anna Nicole Smith.
Like my body? I was honored to be on our next performer's new video. And if I ever record an album, I want this guy to produce mine and make me beautiful duets. 'Cause he's freaking genius! Make some noise for my boy, Kanye West!
Anna Nicole Smith rose to fame as a model. She was named Playboy's Playmate of the Year in 1993. In 1994, she wed 89-year-old oil tycoon J. Howard Marshall II, who died the following year. At the time of marrying Marshall, she was 26 and he was 89. The tremendous 63-year age difference between the couple surprised many, and Smith endured allegations of only being after Marshall's sizable fortune. According to People magazine, the bride took off for Greece without her groom shortly after the wedding. The pair also weren't living together in Marshall's final days, and the unusual union ended with Marshall's death in 1995. Smith claimed that Marshall had promised a share of his estate, but he had not put her in his will. She spent years fighting his son E. Pierce Marshall in court. The case went all the way to the US Supreme Court in 2006, with the court's decision opening the door for Smith to collect the money from her late husband's estate, though the case was not yet settled. She starred in her own reality TV show from 2002 to 2004, and apparently died of an accidental drug overdose in 2007. Or was it?
Tonight of Anna Nicole Smith, just 39 years old. What happened?
This is NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams.
Good evening. We have a lot of news to tell you about here tonight, including that sudden death of a well-known media celebrity, Anna Nicole Smith, who died in Florida late today at the age of 39. This may say a lot about our current culture of celebrity and media these days, when all the major cable news networks switched over to non-stop live coverage this afternoon when word arrived that Anna Nicole Smith had died. She was 39 years old. She was a lot of things: a former Playboy bunny, a former Supreme Court litigant, and a bona fide celebrity of this media age. NBC's Mark Potter is in Hollywood, Florida tonight, outside the hospital where she was rushed earlier today. Mark, good evening.
Good evening, Brian. Anna Nicole Smith was found unconscious in her hotel room early this afternoon, but efforts to revive her there failed. The first distress call came from room 128 at the Hard Rock Hotel in Hollywood, Florida, where Anna Nicole Smith checked in with her husband on Monday. She was a frequent guest at the hotel and was here now to buy a boat. Her personal nurse alerted the hotel operator that there was a problem and they needed help. And then a 911 call was made.
We started an IV. We pushed all the medications. We took 12 lead EKGs. We attempted pacing her, which would be an external pacemaker for the heart. And we had electrical capture, but no mechanical capture, which means we couldn't get her heart beating.
With paramedics on the way, people in her room desperately tried to help.
At 1:45, all I know is that a bodyguard administered CPR to her.
But the bodyguard and paramedics were unable to get her to respond, and they rushed Smith to the trauma center at Memorial Regional Hospital.
And it was covered up. You couldn't see her because she was covered up. They wheeled her in.
But in the emergency room, doctors there were also unsuccessful.
At 2:49 this afternoon, we were advised by hospital personnel that Anna Nicole Smith had died.
Anna Nicole Smith was a flamboyant model and former Playmate of the Year. Her life was chronicled in real time on a cable reality show. In 1994, she married oil tycoon Howard Marshall, who died at the age of 90, and she claims he planned to leave her his multi-billion-dollar fortune. The fight over his estate ended up in court.
Can you please redo the question without yelling at me, because you're scaring me?
The battle went all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, where she won that argument, but the case itself remains unresolved. Meanwhile, Smith suffered a devastating personal tragedy in the Bahamas last year when, shortly after giving birth, her 20-year-old son Daniel died of apparent drug complications. Even after that, her soap opera life continued when her lawyer, Howard K. Stern, announced he was the father of her newborn child.
So you are the father?
Yes, sir.
But now Smith's ex-boyfriend says he is the father and demanded a paternity test. Her life has now ended, but the media spotlight is even brighter. An autopsy begins tomorrow to try to determine the cause of death. Brian?
Mark Potter reporting for us tonight from Hollywood, Florida. Mark, thank you.
Hollywood Fire Rescue. Hi, this is Seminole Police. If you can please respond to the Hard Rock, room 607. Okay. It's going to be reference to a white female who is, what is she, not responsive? Not responsive and not breathing. She's not breathing and she's not responsive. She's actually Anna Nicole Smith. If you guys can please. Oh, okay. Okay? All right. Thank you.
Brittany Murphy.
Oh, God. What's wrong, Ty? They're playing our song. The one that Alton and I danced to. Rolling with the homie. Oh, Ty. Don't cry. I'm sorry. Oh, my God. Stop!
I could tell Ty's grieving period would be considerable.
Hello, how are you?
Tell me about your character June in the movie.
June is definitely in the middle of a love triangle, to say the least.
And how was it filming such a dark thriller?
I was very drawn to this because of its noir quality and the short film that was made before we were able to make the full-length feature. I was excited to be a part of the full length. I really enjoyed the short film very much.
Actress Brittany Murphy got her big break at age 14 as a regular on sitcom Drexel's Class. After the success of Clueless, she starred in critically acclaimed films like Girl Interrupted, 8 Mile, and Sin City, and enjoyed a long-running voice role on the animated King of the Hill. The actress died at age 32 of what has now apparently been determined to be a combination of pneumonia, anemia, and prescription medications. In December 2009, Murphy's life seemed to be taking an unfortunate turn. Her husband, screenwriter Simon Monjack, was hospitalized for health problems. Later in the month, it was revealed that she had also been unexpectedly dropped from her project, The Caller, for which she had been shooting in Puerto Rico. Initial reports indicated that she had been fired from the film, but Murphy denied the rumours. Shortly after the news that she had lost the job due to her poor attitude and spotty attendance on set, she died on the 20th of December 2009. Initially reported as a heart attack, her death was apparently later attributed to acute pneumonia and severe anemia, her condition worsened by heavy doses of cold medications. The actress was only 32 years old. Her husband also died 5 months later in similarly unusual and unexplained circumstances. At the time of her passing, rumours circulated regarding possible drug use or an eating disorder contributed to her death. Her father, however, offered another theory in November of 2013, when he released the results of tests performed on a sample of Murphy's hair that showed exposure to rat poison. Another theory regarding Murphy's death surfaced around that time. According to The Hollywood Reporter, both Murphy and her husband believed that they were being watched by the US government. Murphy reportedly served as a witness for Julia Davis, a Homeland Security employee who revealed problems within the organization. The topic of Murphy's mysterious passing was revived for a 2020 documentary, which followed her father's investigative efforts before his own death in 2019, and explored the possibility that the actress was poisoned.
What killed the young star? NBC4's Stephanie Stanton live in our newsroom with the latest on the investigation. Stephanie.
Well, Chris, Brittany Murphy was only 32 years old. The entertainment world is stunned by the loss of this seemingly healthy young actress whose life was abruptly cut short. The media and paparazzi surrounded the Hollywood Hills home Brittany Murphy shared with her husband of nearly 3 years, British screenwriter Simon Monjack. Paramedics were called to the home around 8 o'clock Sunday morning. Someone dialed 911, reporting that the 32-year-old actress had stopped breathing. The coroner said Murphy had collapsed in the bathroom. Neighbors watched as paramedics performed CPR.
They had her by the fire truck and they were obviously trying to put tubes down her throat, resuscitate her, and I think she was fairly obviously dead at that time.
Murphy was rushed to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center and was pronounced dead at 10:04 a.m. An autopsy scheduled today will help shed light on what killed this vibrant young actress.
The family had reported that she had not been feeling well the last few days and that she had flu-like symptoms and felt sick.
The coroner says the initial exam indicates that Murphy may have died of natural causes.
We didn't find any illicit or illegal drugs. We did recover some of her medication that she had that was prescribed by a doctor.
Murphy rose to fame in the 90s and is best known for her roles in the movies Clueless and 8 Mile. Her husband and mother issued a statement through a family friend.
The sudden loss of our beloved Brittany is a terrible tragedy. She was our daughter, our wife, our love, and a shining star.
Hollywood is also shocked and saddened by the news of her death. Ashton Kutcher, who once dated Murphy, said on his Twitter account, quote, "Today the world lost a little piece of sunshine. My condolences go out to Brittany's family, her husband, and her amazing mother, Sharon." And authorities say there does not appear to be evidence of foul play. Toxicology reports could take weeks to complete. Funeral arrangements for the actress are pending. Live in the newsroom, I'm Stephanie Stanton. Chris, back to you.
Fire Department 97, what's the address of the emergency?
1895 Rising Glen Road.
What's the phone number you're calling from? Tell me exactly what happened.
Oh, somebody's passed out.
Somebody what?
My daughter's passed out. We're doing mouth to mouth. Please get here quick,
okay,
please.
okay. All right, we're going to. How old is your daughter?
She's 30. Please hurry.
She's 30? Okay, she's with you now?
Yes, there's someone coming.
Yeah, ma'am. You don't have to yell. We're going to send somebody out there, okay? Is she awake?
Please, no.
Is she breathing?
No.
Okay, so somebody's doing mouth to mouth?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Ma'am, did somebody see what happened?
No.
Okay, listen to me carefully. Is there a defibrillator available? Is there a defibrillator available?
Defibrillator, do we, honey? No.
Okay, listen to me carefully. We're on our way. I'm going to give you instructions. Are you right by her now?
Yes.
Are you right by her now?
Yes, her husband.
Okay, listen carefully. I want you to lay her on her back.
She is already.
On the floor.
She is already.
And no pillows under the head. Remove any pillows. Is there any, okay?
No pillows under the head.
No pillows under the head. Okay. Now, I want you to take a look inside of her mouth. Is there anything? Kneel next to her and look inside her mouth and check for food or vomit.
She threw up tons of stuff. Tons and tons of water.
Okay, turn her to the
Cold
side.
Water.
Turn her to the side and wipe out her mouth and nose.
Wipe out her mouth and nose.
Is there anything in her mouth?
Yes. Is there anything in her mouth now? Oh my God.
Is there anything in her mouth?
God.
Is there anything in her mouth, ma'am?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, listen to me carefully. Place your hand on her forehead and your other hand under her neck and tilt her head back.
Place your hand on her forehead, the other hand on your neck, and tilt her head back.
Put your ear next to her mouth.
Put your ear next to her mouth.
Can you feel or hear any breathing?
Can you feel or hear any breathing?
Can you feel or hear any breathing? Yes or no, ma'am? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Just a minute, please.
It just takes a second. Can you feel
hear anything, Simon.
Yes or no?
Yes or no? No!
Okay, all right, listen to me carefully. I'm going to tell you how to do compressions, okay? All right, I'm going to tell you how to do compressions. Make sure she's flat on her back on the ground.
Flat on her back.
Okay, place the heel of your hand on the breastbone.
He's doing it. He's
in the center of her chest. You still need to listen to me, okay?
Okay, go.
Feel the heel, place the heel of your hand on the breastbone in the center of her chest, right between the nipples.
Between the nipples.
Put your other hand on top of that hand.
The other hand on top of that hand.
Okay, push down firmly 2 inches with only the heel of your lower hand touching the chest. Now listen carefully, okay? Pump the chest hard and fast at least twice per second.
He is.
We're going to do this 600 times.
He is.
600 times.
He hasn't stopped.
600 times, okay? Just keep doing compressions, okay, until help can take over. Let the chest come all the way up between pumps. Count out loud so I can count with you, okay?
Count out loud.
I want to hear. It's got to be at this rate, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Keep going at that rate.
8, 9.
That's too slow.
Too slow.
11, 12. Too slow.
Okay, he's going. 14. You're
Got to be a little faster than that.
He's counting every other pump.
But he's got to count each pump. 1, 2.
Oh my God, oh my God.
He's got to keep pumping, ma'am.
Keep pumping, don't stop, don't stop.
And count them out, count each pump. Count each pump.
Hold on, please. I just want to make sure it's at the other phone ringing. Hold on. Oh my God. We're counting yet, baby. 3:20. Okay, that's the gate.
Are they there, ma'am?
Yeah.
Are they there now?
Yes.
Okay, is it still pumping on her chest? You got to keep doing that until they take over, okay?
Luke Perry.
And I find that very interesting that she's playing like the typical Beverly Hills, and I'm playing this Beverly Hills, you know, richest kid in school, all that, and we both come from the farm.
Yeah.
I just don't believe in winning through intimidation. Unless, of course, I'm doing the intimidating.
Luke is a sexual demon.
Are you a sexual demon?
Come on over here, sweetheart.
Not as far as Jay is.
And Luke has all the subtlety of a sledgehammer.
And we like that, and I'm not
good.
Subtle.
She's good.
I'm
not a stitch.
It's not really my strong point, subtlety, is it? But that's why Jay and I make such a good team, because he has a subtlety. I mean, he's like a feather. He's very light. He's very subtle. You know, between his subtlety
and his
my
hair,
animal magnetism, and my Elvis
his hair, the hair. He's got the hair. I don't hate.
Who's saying no to that?
I don't know what I'm gonna do without you guys. At the risk of sounding mushy, you Walsh people are the only family I got.
My big fear about doing a television show is that it's going to be some stupid, schlocky kind of thing.
Well, like all the teenagers are like D students and really proud about it.
Right. You know, in this instance, we've been very lucky that we have an intelligent group of writers and producers, and they're trying to make some quality statements.
Actor Luke Perry landed his breakthrough role as the rebellious teen heartthrob Dylan McKay in the TV series Beverly Hills 90210 in 1990. In the years since, he has enjoyed continued success on TV as well as on stage and silver screen. He also starred in the drama Riverdale. In 1989, Perry had auditioned for Beverly Hills 90210 for the role of the jock Steve Sanders, but was chosen to play bad boy Dylan McKay instead. Beverly Hills 90210 creator Darren Star told Rolling Stone magazine when Luke walked into the audition, it was like, wow, that's the person. On the 27th of Feb 2019, it was reported that Perry had been rushed to the hospital after suffering what was described as a massive stroke. He passed away 5 days later on the 4th of March 2019 at St. Joseph's Hospital in Burbank, California.
Now,
to the passing of an icon of 1990s TV. This is breaking news just in the last hour or so. The U.S. actor Luke Perry has died just a few days after suffering a stroke. Perry, of course, for people of my generation, is best known for his role as Dylan McKay in Beverly Hills 90210. The character was brooding and dangerous, and that made him all the more appealing to many viewers. And Luke Perry, very young, dying at the age of 52. But he became a star with a much younger generation, acting up until his death. I want to bring in Stephanie Elam from Los Angeles because he was on a show on cable called Riverdale. So we'd heard a few days ago that Luke Perry had a stroke, but people can recover from strokes. In fact, make full recovery from strokes. So it was quite a shock to hear today that he'd passed away, Stephanie.
It's super shocking, Hala, and 52 is just way too young to be gone. But you're right. You point out that people of our generation were all about Luke Perry because he did play Dylan McKay on 90210. And now it's very possible that fans of that show, that their children are fans of Riverdale that comes on the CW here in the United States. And on that show, he plays the father of Archie Andrews. He plays Fred Andrews. So that's what his role is currently. Right now, he was still in the midst of shooting that show when he passed away. But we now know that he has had a massive stroke last week. And that is what led to this lack of recovery here. In fact, we've got a statement that has been put out by his publicist that said that he was surrounded by his children, Jack and Sophie. His fiance was there, Wendy Madison Bauer, as well as his ex-wife, Minnie Sharp, who was, she's also an actress. His mother was there. His stepfather was with him, brother and sister, and some close friends. Obviously, shocking news that this has come out. I mean, he really was an icon of 90s television being on that show. And so it wouldn't be surprising that we would hear from some of his co-stars. And Ian Ziering, who played Steve Sanders on 90210, if you remember, he did send out a tweet. I just want to read it to you right now. Within the last hour or so, he wrote, "Dearest Luke, I will forever bask in the loving memories we've shared over the last 30 years. May your journey forward be enriched by the magnificent souls who have passed before you, just like you have done here for those you leave behind." So just devastating news. His children, I think his son is in his early 20s, a daughter is in her late teens, just to think about all that goes into it. But this is a man who, while he did play that brooding teenager, really wanted to play different roles. And so you saw him go on and take on different roles, like 8 Seconds. He was also in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie, not the TV show. He did many different things. John from Cincinnati, many different roles that he took on to show that he was more complex than just playing that brooding teenager that so many people fell in love with back in the day.
In fact, there's a reboot of 90210. He hadn't signed on to be part of it, and he'd said in the past that he'd moved on from that role. But internationally, I mean, I just anecdotally on Twitter, 90210 was a huge international hit, syndicated in dozens and dozens of countries, translated in dozens and dozens of languages. So this is the type of 90s hit that really transcended the United States and kind of exported this early 90s genre around the world.
And they really did become household names, the actors on the show, for the characters that they played. And they were connected to them forever. I think you wouldn't be surprised to see that people talk about it. In fact, just to give you an idea of how huge it was, in 1991, Luke Perry went to a mall in Florida to sign some autographs. They expected 2,000 people would be there. Some 10,000 people showed up. They had to close the mall. It was such a big deal because people were such a fan of Dylan McKay, of this character that Luke Perry had created. And so it was something that I think for a lot of the characters on the show, for the actors on the show, it was hard to get away from those characters to do other things. And it was something he felt strongly about. And it is interesting to note that they're going to reboot 90210, and they announced it on the same day that he had this stroke. And he had said that he wasn't going to be a part of it. But a lot of his former co-stars do plan on being a part of that reboot.
All right, Stephanie Elam, thanks very much. There with the sad news that Luke Perry, the star of 90210, later Riverdale, has died at the age of 52 after suffering a stroke.
Good morning, yes, please hurry up and get here. Is he injured? Did he hurt himself? Did he fall? Is he able to speak with you? Is he breathing normally? Have him stay where he's at. Just have him stay there until they arrive. They're on their way. Okay. If he should get any worse before they arrive, call us back for further instructions.
River Phoenix.
He rocks in the treetop all the day long, hopping and a bopping and a singing his song. All the little birds on Jaybird Street love to hear the robin go tweet, 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 rockin'.
Hey, how do you know a Frenchman's been in your backyard?
Hey, I'm French, okay?
Your garbage cans are empty and your dog's pregnant.
Didn't I just say I was French?
I knock. 29.
22.
Piss up a rope.
Gordy's out. Oh, Gordy just bit the bag and stepped out the door.
Come on, man, deal.
Teddy Duchamp was the craziest guy we hung around with. He didn't have much of a chance in life. His dad was given to fits of rage. One time he held Teddy's ear to a stove and almost burned it off.
I knock. You four-eyed pile of shit.
A pile of shit has 1,000 eyes. What? What's so funny? Come on, I got 30. What have you got?
16.
Go ahead. Keep laughing. You're down to your ride, pal.
Chris Chambers was the leader of our gang and my best friend. He came from a bad family, and everyone just knew he'd turn out bad, including Chris.
That's not the secret knock.
I forget the secret knock. Let me in.
River Phoenix had his breakthrough film role in now classic coming-of-age movie Stand By Me, based on the short novel by Stephen King. He earned an Academy Award nomination for Sidney Lumet's Running on Empty, and also starred as the young Indy in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. As a young child, Phoenix learned to play the guitar and sing. Phoenix and Rain performed on the streets of Venezuela to earn money and pass out literature on their religious beliefs. His parents eventually became disillusioned with their religious group and decided to return to the United States in 1978. They spent some time in Florida, where Phoenix and some of the other children performed in talent shows and started to attract attention for their musical and acting abilities. In 1993, Phoenix had started work on Dark Blood with Jonathan Pryce and Judy Davis when tragedy struck. During a break in filming, Phoenix went to the Viper Room, a popular nightclub that was partly owned by Johnny Depp, with his brother Joe Quinn, his sister Rain, and his girlfriend Samantha Mathis. At some point during the evening, Phoenix apparently took a cocktail of drugs and became seriously ill. He was helped outside and began to have seizures. Joe Quinn called 911 and Rain tried to help Phoenix, who was lying on the sidewalk. When the ambulance arrived, paramedics worked on resuscitating the young actor at the scene. Their efforts failed, and they transported him to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, where he was declared dead in the early hours of the 31st of October 1993. On the 12th of November, the Los Angeles County Coroner's report revealed that Phoenix died from acute multiple drug intoxication, including deadly amounts of cocaine and morphine. Traces of marijuana, prescription, Valium, and over-the-counter cold medicines were also found in his system, even though he was known for not taking drugs.
At the age of 23, it happened outside the Viper Room, a popular West Hollywood night spot. His friends say Phoenix had been, in the words of one of them, acting strange. When he collapsed, his brother called 911 and mentioned the tranquilizer Valium.
Inside this trendy Hollywood nightclub, he was rushed to Cedars-Sinai Hospital, where police say he died 50 minutes later.
At this point in time, the exact cause of death is still under investigation.
Los Angeles homicide detectives say an autopsy will take place in the next few days and should reveal what caused the young actor's death.
I've had a pretty good life, but very kind of random at times and exciting.
His career took off after he co-starred in the box office success Stand By Me.
It's fascinating what 50 bucks can get you at the county recorder's office. What do you
He played a computer whiz kid in the hit Sneakers. But the bulk of his career was spent on more small-budget, less mainstream films.
I don't feel sorry for myself.
My Own Private Idaho was one such film in which Phoenix played a narcoleptic teenage hustler. For this role, he won the Best Actor prize at the 1991 Venice Film Festival. The son of missionaries, he spent much of his childhood in Venezuela. Phoenix had said that upbringing influenced his acting career.
For me, being true is all I can do, and that's all I can do in my craft that makes it valid for me.
I have no right and telling this to you. It's dangerous.
He was rewarded for his work in Running on Empty with an Oscar nomination, and he was generally thought of as a serious actor with a bright future. Tonight, police say their immediate investigation hasn't given them much information, and they too are waiting for the results of the autopsy. Sandra Hughes, CBS News, Hollywood.
It was just over a month ago that 23-year-old actor River Phoenix stumbled out of this trendy Sunset nightclub known as the Viper Room and died of a massive drug overdose. Paramedics found him on the sidewalk.
He didn't have a heartbeat, didn't have a pulse.
Ever since his debut as a child star in the movie Stand By Me, River Phoenix has carved out a place for his talents, playing the young Indiana Jones, a troubled teen in My Own Private Idaho, and a computer whiz kid in Sneakers. Very few in Hollywood had risen this far, this fast. Besides the clean-cut Hollywood image, River Phoenix had a different side, a side that was tormented by inner demons, which eventually drove him to self-destruct.
I knew a part of him that no one else really knew, and that was the part of him that used drugs.
Meet Rick Riojas, a musician and former heroin addict. Riojas claims he met River Phoenix in a studio jam session. Along with being an actor, Phoenix was also a guitarist for a band called Alika's Attic.
Seizures on Sunset and Larrabee, please come here.
Okay, calm down a little bit, okay? What's the address where you need us?
It's Sunset and Larrabee. It's at the Viper Room.
Okay, what's the address, sir? Do you know?
What's the address to the fucking club?
Okay, sir? Sir, calm down a little bit, okay?
I'm sorry, it's my brother. Please come here.
How old is he?
He's 23.
Calm down, okay? If you can't calm down, give the phone to somebody else.
No, there's no one else around.
Okay.
I'm fine. No, I think he had Valium or something. I don't know.
Who's with him right now?
My sister, the people.
Okay, can you talk to her from where you are?
She's trying to give him mouth to mouth.
Sir, calm down. Tell her not to give him mouth to mouth.
Don't give him mouth to mouth.
You only give him mouth to mouth if he's not breathing. What's he doing? Just seems like he's sleeping right now?
Yeah, he just looks like he's sleeping.
Okay, that's very normal, okay?
Yeah?
That's very normal. Sometimes, in fact, sometimes they do actually go to sleep.
Whitney Houston.
10 years ago, Whitney Houston and I sat down in her living room for an intense interview. It was the first time she ever admitted her drug addiction. She also told me something I'll never forget about her terror of performing, asking me as I was leaving, "Have you ever heard the sound of 10,000 people disappointed in you?" As we said, her body is returning tonight to the church in Newark, New Jersey, where she first sang a solo and stunned the congregation.
You know what I used to do, Diane? I would close my eyes like this and I'd sing. I was so afraid and I'd sing. And when I would open my eyes, the people would be what we call Holy Ghost fired out. They would be in such spirit of praise. I think I knew then that it was an infectious thing that God had given me. I didn't even date in my 20s. It was rough. It was rough. I think I kind of reverted back as I got older and said, well, I'm just gonna party, you know? It was kind of a rebel in me, you know?
Whitney dying, crack rehab fails.
First of all, let's get one thing straight. Crack is cheap. I make too much money to ever smoke crack. Let's get that straight, okay? We don't do crack. We don't do that. Crack is whack.
Is it alcohol? Is it marijuana? Is it cocaine? Is it pills?
It has been, at times.
All?
At times.
If you had to name the devil for you, the biggest devil among them?
That would be me. It's my deciding. It's my heart. It's what I want and what I don't want. Nobody makes me do anything I don't want to do. It's my decision. So the biggest devil is me. I'm either my best friend or my worst enemy. And that's how I have to deal with it.
But now do you say, not at all? Or do you say, I can...
Well, I'm not going to tell you that. I could tell you that I am not self-destructive. I'm not a person who wants to die. I'm a person who has life and wants to live.
Whitney Houston was cited as the most awarded female artist of all time by Guinness World Records and is one of the best-selling recording artists of all time, with estimated sales of over 200 million records worldwide. She released 7 studio albums and 2 soundtrack albums, all of which have been certified diamond, multi-platinum, platinum or gold by the Recording Industry Association of America. Her crossover appeal on the popular music charts as well as her prominence on MTV influenced several African-American female artists. She reportedly appeared disheveled and erratic in the days immediately prior to her apparent death. On the 9th of February 2012, Houston visited singers Brandy and Monica, together with Clive Davis, at their rehearsals for Davis's pre-Grammy Awards party at the Beverly Hilton in Beverly Hills. That same day, she made her last public performance when she joined Kelly Price on stage in Hollywood and sang Jesus Loves Me. 2 days later, on the 11th of February 2012, Houston was reportedly found unconscious in Suite 434 at the Beverly Hilton Hotel, submerged in a bathtub. Beverly Hills paramedics arrived at approximately 3:30 p.m., found Houston unresponsive, and performed CPR. Houston was pronounced dead at 3:55 p.m. The cause of death was not immediately known. Local police said there were no obvious signs of criminal intent. On the 22nd of March 2012, the LA County Coroner's Office reported that Houston's death was caused by drowning and the effects of atherosclerotic heart disease and cocaine use. The office stated the amount of cocaine found in Houston's body indicated that she used the substance shortly before her death. Toxicology results revealed additional drugs in her system: Benadryl, Xanax, cannabis, and Flexeril. The manner of death was listed as accident.
Let's get right to ABC's Cecilia Vega, who joins us live from the Beverly Hilton Hotel in Los Angeles. Cecilia?
Yes, good morning, George. It happened here at 3:43 yesterday afternoon when a member of Houston's entourage located her body inside this hotel. So far, police and the coroner are refusing to offer details about what may have caused her tragic death. Exactly what happened inside the iconic Beverly Hilton remains a mystery. Paramedics raced to the 4th floor and found a lifeless Whitney Houston inside her hotel room bathtub. They tried in vain to resuscitate her with CPR.
At 3:55 p.m. this afternoon, Whitney Houston was pronounced dead at the Beverly Hilton Hotel.
The scene inside her room was chaotic. ABC has learned it appears members of Houston's entourage found her unresponsive body and called hotel security. But just about a half hour earlier, Houston's mother, Sissy, reportedly spoke to her daughter and said nothing was out of the ordinary. Houston's cousin, Dionne Warwick, also reportedly spoke to her over the phone earlier in the day and said everything seemed fine. Houston was staying at the hotel to attend music industry executive Clive Davis's annual pre-Grammy Bash. It is the same event where she was introduced to the record industry nearly 3 decades ago. Hours after her death, the party still went on, but the scene was surreal. The Beverly Hills Crime Lab parked outside. Paparazzi camped out waiting for Houston's body to emerge. Inside, a star-studded lineup of speeches and songs. Her final days were marked by questions about her sobriety. Houston's stay at the Beverly Hilton involved heavy partying, according to news reports, and then early Friday morning, what would become Houston's final performance. She sang a duet with Grammy nominee Kelly Price at a party at a Hollywood nightclub. Houston was there with her daughter having a good time, but after cheers on stage, these photos of a disheveled, bloated, and agitated Houston leaving. She reportedly had blood dripping down her leg, scratches on her wrist, and had to be escorted from the club. But the people who knew her said she was simply sweating from her performance.
There was nothing wrong. There was nothing wrong. She was singing.
She was dancing, she was laughing, she was playing. I'm going to remember her just like that, because that's the Whitney that I always had the pleasure of being around.
The pop superstar would be dead the next day.
Now, one report says Whitney Houston was found with prescription drugs inside her room here at the Beverly Hilton and that she may have drowned in the bathtub. Whatever happened, the coroner says if an autopsy is performed, it could be a day or two before that's done. Robin?
And until then, we just don't know. Cecilia, thank you.
911 emergency. Hi, how you doing? This is security from Beverly Hilton. Hi, what's going on? I need paramedics. Apparently, I got a 46-year-old female found in the bathrooms. That's all I've got right now, but they're requesting paramedics. Oh, okay. Female found in the bathroom. What room is she in? I'm not sure. She fell or she was in the bathroom with the water. 464? 434, I'm sorry. That's room 434? Yes. Okay, and it's not east, west, or anything else? It's room 434? Yeah. Okay, you don't know if she is conscious of breathing at all? Apparently she wasn't breathing, and she's 46-year-old. She was not breathing? Yes. Okay, but she is breathing now? I don't know. Okay. The person that called me was irate and didn't get much out of her. Okay, you have got security going there now. Okay, we'll send police and fire over there with a person not breathing. Did it sound like the person was still not breathing? Yeah, that's correct. Okay, we'll get them there for not breathing. Is there any way you can get me to the room so I can try to do CPR? Yeah, we're going there now. Can you get me into the room so I can try to give CPR instructions? Oh, I'm sorry. No, because she kept hanging up on us. Kept hanging up on you? Yeah. Okay, all right. We're good now. Units over there, okay? Okay, thank you. Thank you, bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. If you got this far, I actually love you. If you enjoyed the content, give it a thumbs up. If you want to support this channel, smash that subscribe button now. What are you waiting for? A massive thank you to the official Read TV supporters, my first ever official sponsor, Susanna M, and the other sponsors, and that's Saren, Lee Price, Jason, and Kat S. You guys are awesome. Peace. You've been watching a Read TV documentary.